I owe Chancellor Angela Merkel an apology. A few weeks ago on this segment, I accused the German Chancellor of dropping the ball in the Eurozone crisis. I was wrong. Last week, Merkel finally stepped up and faced down the private holders of Greek debt and the Greek government. They blinked, and Germany bought Europe some time. Unfortunately, it may be too little, too late. This week, yields on Italy's sovereign bonds, the lifeblood of Europe's third largest economy, rose to unsustainable levels. Despite the optimistic talk coming from Brussels, Paris, and Berlin, the euro is now on life support. Why won't this crisis go away? The answer is clear. George Soros on the left and David Frum on the right agree on one thing: a common currency without deepening fiscal integration is an unworkable idea. When the euro was created, Europeans got the name without the game. They would share a common currency, but they had no common financial regulation and no common fiscal authority that had the teeth to enforce targets or national deficits. In other words, Europe gave itself a fancy new sports car, but no speed limits. It's no surprise then that some European governments tested these limits by borrowing recklessly and cooking the books for as long as they could. No one was watching, and when somebody finally did open the books in Athens, a small problem was allowed to fester. Instead of a quick solution that would have contained the trouble, worry set in as creditors wondered who was next. And so here we are, as worry turns to fear and a contagious financial panic spreads to other larger economies that have also borrowed carelessly. Italy is now in the eye of the storm. The markets, having lost confidence that the government of Silvio Berlusconi will rein in spending, helped push him to offer his resignation. So Europe will buy itself another month, but the crisis won't go away. To hear the Germans tell it, as I did in Berlin earlier this week, Europe's financial crisis will end only when the continent's southern economies become more German, more competitive, more efficient, and more productive. So, can the euro be saved? Only if Europe does two really tough things. First, move quickly down the road to deeper fiscal integration. Governments will have to cede sovereignty over the size of their deficits and over taxation. Faceless regulators will have to monitor their economies. And European publics will hate this, and they'll probably bring down the governments who try to make it happen. And second, and this is far harder to do, all European countries are going to have to look a lot more like Germany. Don't hold your breath. For The Agenda with Steve Paikin, I'm Janice Stein.